Hi, Essence here again on the second video around manifestation. So if you haven't seen the first one, where we end up talking about is about worthiness. And I really encourage you to go back. It's a 9-minute video. It's worth your time. This is an important conversation if you're interested in the conversation of manifestation. Now, again, like I said before, when we talk about manifestation, there's a lot of hoopla around what that means, that things just magically happen. If you put them in your mind and you think about it often enough, then it just happens like that. And we all have miraculous moments where that happens. Like, we think about a person or we think about something we want and then somehow it's received. It happens. Those are miraculous moments. That's not manifestation. And manifestation, honestly, the way I see a lot of it online or in books makes it sound like magic. And it makes it's just not accurate. So we're going off of self-worthiness. That's what we talked about in the last video. And this video, the real work then is, they say, is to embed the subconscious. So there's the subconscious mind and then there's the conscious mind. The subconscious mind has all the feelings and thinks, and it has a definite impact of whether you like something. It stays in your subconscious mind. It tells your conscious mind, and it has your habits, your long-term memory, etc., like that, right? That's your subconscious mind. So they're saying if you can plant the idea in your subconscious mind, but here's the thing. If you attempt to put an idea into your subconscious mind as something you want to experience or have or do, and you actually don't believe in it, it's not going to actually sit. The next thing I want to tell you about subconscious mind is that the real truth of this whole thing around manifestation, and there will be people who will probably be on YouTube and Facebook and go, that's not how it worked for me. We all have glorious moments where things just seem to happen, but the truth is, if you look back at those glorious moments, and I'm not talking about miraculous moments, but glorious moments where things just kind of seem to fall on your lap, things just fall on you, and it's like everything's going great, and you're like, wow, this just kind of miraculously happened. Those aren't miracles. Believe it or not, I'm guessing 9 times out of 10, you were in the right place at the right time because you made a decision to go and be or do something, or you said and did something that you hadn't done before, and so it became what it is. And that is what manifestation is. So it is like seeding something and rooting something like a tree. And like a tree or a flower or a plant or a brand new baby, you have to feed it so that it grows. You have to nourish it well. So you can plant ideas all day long about something that you'd like to experience into the world. But if you don't believe in it, in yourself, that you have the ability to create it, because it's not going to be created for you. That's not what the divine does. The divine works through you, to you, constantly channeling to you. But they're not going to do the work for you. You got to do it, because then how would you know what you're capable of, right? So you have to do the inner work first, right? Really looking at the places in which you trip yourself up, the places where you don't believe in yourself, the language you use about yourself, whether that's hyperbole, like I'm so wonderful, everything just happens to me, or God, I'm just so slow and I don't get it. You've got to find the most nurturing language, like you're talking to your pet or like you're talking to a child. And I'm not trying to dumb it down, but think about how you talk to a child. And I'm not talking about high-pitched voices. I'm talking about how you really reach a child or even an animal or an elder. It is with love. It is with kindness. It is repeated over and over again how much you love this being, how much it brings you joy to care for this being, how happy you are that this being is in your life. You are kind. You are gentle. You are clear. You are consistent in the conversation and in the behavior. That is planting in your subconscious. But first, there's real work to do. And you have to really go into your own mind and go, where do I actually harm myself? What are my thoughts about myself that are unkind? I'm hard on the way I look. I'm hard on my weight. I wish I was taller. Perhaps I'm not as smart as some of the people that I know around me. It could be that I didn't go to college, or I didn't do well in college, or the list, right? The list. And we're very hard, especially now with social media. There's so much coming out at us. There's so much to compare ourselves to. Stop doing that. Do not compare yourself to others. Be inspired by others. But don't get jealous of others and don't compare yourself against others. The real work is getting really clear on where you're hard on yourself and then where you want to tell the truth. So maybe there's more work for you to do. And this is the soul journey. Manifestation is a soul journey. It's not instantaneous. You might have those instantaneous moments, but those are miracles. So enjoy those for a long life of experiences that you want to create in the world. The creation comes from you first, because you are the divine. You have the mind and soul of the divine, and the divine is always speaking to you and with you and for you. And so if what you're hearing in your mind is not kind, is not true, and is not sustaining you, then you have to come up with new language. You have to come up with words that are more holy. I did do a talk years ago, and I put it in my newsletter about a month ago around using sacred language. I'm going to give you a couple of words. So let's just take me, for example. Let's just say, for an example, I don't believe I can create this thing I want to create because I've never done it before. I don't know how to do it, and it scares me. Okay, so those are like the emotions around the work. And then there are the emotions or the thoughts I feel about myself, right? So I might say to myself in that conversation, subconsciously, who am I to think I can do this? I mean, I can put the hyperbole like, yeah, I got this, I can do it. But underneath it all, those other thoughts are right there. And so I have to really look at where is my fear really coming from? What am I really afraid from? I can blame it on out there, others or other experiences, but it's all in here. And again, it all goes back to self-worth, right? So the conversation I could have with myself is, you're going to do this one step at a time. This is brand new to you. Let's look at a time when you did something brand new. I want you to be gentle and kind with yourself. I know that was hard. Go back into your history. Remember when you did something you've never done before, and you did it, and you did it well. Maybe not at first, but like learning how to ride a bike, you must be patient with yourself. It's one step at a time. It's one wheel at a time. It's one foot at a time. So you started off running, and when you started off running, you could only do a quarter of a mile. And then you moved up to half a mile. And then before you knew it, you were doing 8 miles a day. Now, when I say before you knew it, that actually took you a year. It took you a year to get their essence. But you did it one little piece at a time because you wanted to run. You wanted to run. It felt good to run. And then when you were running, you would start praying. You would just be running and praying and running. And before you knew it was 8 miles. It was just like that. Prayer, for you, essence, I'm talking about myself. For me, prayer and running was like an internal conversation that just removed time, removed all the reasons or exceptions to me being able to run. Now you might say, well, running's easy. Actually, it isn't. It's an art form. It is an art form. So anything we do is an art form, and it needs us to be present to it. We have to have the paint, the brushes, and we have to have the subconscious mind agreeing with the conscious mind that this is what we're going to do. So you need to be patient with yourself. It is not instantaneous. You need to look at the language you're using when you talk about yourself, to others, in your own quiet time, and not put in false words or false terminology. Don't do something that doesn't feel real, and yet do something that is new. So in order to feel real, you have to practice becoming who you are. I know. And so you have to be practiced. For me, it wasn't just being the runner I was practicing. I was practicing being the woman who would get up early in the morning, who had faith that she would run even if it was a quarter mile, and that I would run that quarter mile until I can run a little bit more. And 8 miles was my limit. I mean, I did more, but consistently 7 or 8 miles was my limit. And because that was more than enough. But it took me time to get there. So you have to pace yourself. You have to learn how to believe in yourself one step at a time. God, the divine within you, does answer the call, but you have to ring the bell with truth. That nothing can happen without you. This isn't magical. This isn't magic. Nothing happens. You are the center of everything. So plant the behavior, not the belief right away. You're not ready to believe the thing yet. Plant the behaviors in your subconscious and then start behaving those planted behaviors on purpose. And you might even have to write a note. I am going to believe that I'm a runner by running an eighth of a mile or walking a half a mile and running 10 steps. And then consciously do that thing every single day until it becomes not just habit, but who you are. Braided in to who you are. And then, before you know it, you're calling yourself a runner. So you might have to go back actually before I end. This is also a little bit longer video than I expected, and look at several of the thoughts that shape your behaviors that are not giving you the outcome that you want to have. It takes time. It is a soul's journey. More to come. Hope to see you soon. Hey, matakiase.